Hello, I'm Daniel Herrera, and we're going to do Haskell problems in HackerRank. And the first thing, there's this preparation kit that gives us a 1 week preparation. So it's like 3 problems each day, it's supposed to be. And this is the first one. And it's quite an easy problem. The input is going to be an array, and we have to say which proportion of those integers is positive, 0, and negative. And for example here, it also tells us how many numbers the array is going to have, but we're not going to need that. And it's going to tell us give us the array. And from this example in particular, 50% is positive, 33% is negative, and 16.6% is 0. This has to have 6 places of after the decimal point, so six places of precision, or I don't know how to call that. So let's start. This is a module that has absolutely nothing, and we'll do our solution here. And our solution is gonna use this thing called interact. I'll talk about interact later. Solution is gonna take a string and it's going to return a string. We don't actually want that in this precise moment, so I'll just comment that out and let the compiler tell us what the type is. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna words our input. Let's do an example of our input, right? If we do words and then show those words, then we can have something there, right? It doesn't like it. Why doesn't it like it? No stanza for show of something that's not. We don't have to worry about this right now. So this version is gonna have a string, and that's gonna be it. So let's take a look at what this does. Right, this is gonna show gives us a string of any type, and here we are gonna use the interact thing. Interact is a function that takes a function and returns an IO action. This function that it takes, it's a function that as an argument takes a string and returns a string. And this string represents the standard input, and this string represents the standard output. So we can do so if we try to do our not yet solution of this, and that, and we run this code, it's gonna be wrong, but it'll tell us what our input is like. And it says there's no string. Sorry about that. So we just have to do, we just have that things. So if you notice, it gives us precisely these things as this is separates all of the input with the white spaces, and it gives you the words is gonna separate into an array, right? So our input is gonna be something like this, and we can use it here just to have it, and we'll do that. Yeah, let's kill that, and let's just do there's some new space here, and let's try it. Our solution of input here. Perfect. So it gives us a list of strings basically, and we don't want to actually show here. That was just something. Okay. Now we don't actually want the first one, so we actually tail, which means that, and then you can reload and see. So we only want the 6 because the 6 represented how many numbers are going to go after that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we don't use that, at least not for this solution. Then we want to we actually need 3 things. So let's let our input equals that in our output. So what's going to be our output here? And our output is going to be well, the first step is we're going to filter the list, and let's make it so this list I is of type list of strings, and we actually want it to be a list of integers. So let's just read that, and let's map that into that. So that, and then let's filter I, so that first are the greater than 0 functions. The function, this is a function, and it's a function that takes an integer and returns a boolean, and so that's going to be the first part. Then we'll do filter of negative ones, and then of I, and then we'll do a filter of the equal ones, of the one that equals 0 in I. Let's take a look at what this looks like. Let's reload that. Let's show. So the first one is telling me all the positive ones, the second one is telling me all the negative ones, and the third one is going to tell me all the 0 ones. Now I actually don't want the actual values. I just want the number of them. So we can this is too much repetition, and we can do an auxiliary function. So let's call that f, and f we're gonna receive a function g, and it's gonna be this thing, the filter of the thing. So let's do that, g, and we'll have then, and I have to repeat greater than 0, right? So f greater than 0, that, I'm just trying not to repeat myself too much. And we don't actually so that's the same thing. We just extracted that code, and if you take a look, it's gonna be exactly the same thing. But now we can do a length of that. So length of filter of I, and now it's gonna change. And so there's 3 positive numbers, 2 negative numbers, and 1 equal to 0. Then after this, we actually want we don't want this is an integer, and we're gonna need boolean. So not only are we gonna need boolean, but not only are we gonna need a boolean, but we need a proportion, right? How many of them are we're gonna need a proportion of how many of them are positive, and how many are negative, and how many are 0. So that's gonna be a division, and for that we can do something like I want the entire number of I want the entire number of elements, so the n, and we can say n is the length of I, and we want integral of that, right? And then we want the proportion, so we might just do this divided by n. It doesn't like it because the first part is not an integral. I mean, it's not a double, and so we can do that. So that works. Yeah, that works. So let's reload that and do. Okay, that's perfect. Now we want 6 precision numbers from here, and that's gotten by show f float. So show f float is a function that the first argument you tell it how many what's the number of the precision that you want. So we're gonna have a just 6 here. This is a number that we want to get this precision from, and so let's do that. So show show f float, and show f float comes from something called numeric. So it's gonna complain that it doesn't have it, but we'll have it soon enough in our imports. Import numeric, and we're gonna input that function. This is what we want. It's not what we have yet. We currently have a string as an input and a list of and it also couldn't deduce this. Why can't you deduce that? It doesn't matter that much. So how about if I just tell it it's a double here, and let's see. Okay, it said it wanted scope type variables, and that's what we gave it, or that's what that gave it. Oh, so show a float has to have so show a float has to tell it just 6 was the first thing, then the number, and then we have to give it it returns an show s, and show s is a function from string to string that prepends something to it. So let's see what that does. And solution, this is precisely what we wanted. Now we want to lines or unlines this, and that should be a solution. So from here we don't care about the input because that was just our helper, and we can go now to our solutions. Please move. And let's do that. We're importing numeric, that it's necessary. Now solution is of this type, and main is gonna be interact of solution. And let's try running this. It doesn't like that because we didn't have scope type variables. We can do that. Copied, it doesn't matter. Just change that up, run that again. Okay, that worked. If we submit the code, then that works also. And that has been the first problem of HackerRank solutions. Thank you for listening. See you later.